What's up? What's going on? 1 second. Just kidding. This is dating me. This is a Jewel from years and years ago when I was addicted, like you probably are. Um, if you clicked on this video, then you're probably addicted to vaping or cigarettes or something like that, and I get it. And I have been there, and I have gotten off and back on multiple times, and it sucks. And it sucks to get off of it, and it also sucks to be stuck on it. And you don't need me to tell you why you want to get off nicotine, because if you're watching this, you already want to get off. And I've never met a person who was addicted to nicotine to some capacity who didn't want to get off of it. It's there's 100 reasons why you should, and maybe there are probably some that you should, that say you shouldn't. I don't know. All I can tell you is from my experience of getting on and getting off multiple times, what the best steps are and what the best ways to go about it are. This is going to be my prop for the video. I promise I don't vape. I would say the first thing that you need to realize when you are getting off of nicotine is realize that in some way you are using it as a crutch for, it's like an emotional support stick. So whenever you feel bad, whenever you feel kind of shitty, whenever something's going slightly wrong, it's like a little stick in your pocket that helps you through that like helps you cope. It's a little coping mechanism, and it's a small one. And I realized this when I was having an argument with a coworker, that I reached for a Zyn in my pocket during that argument, even though I had just put one in like 2 seconds ago. Like, it's just a way of like, I don't feel good in this situation, so I'm going to use this little thing that I feel like is going to make me feel a lot better, or just a little bit better. And that is going to go away when you stop vaping. You stop using all of that. That will just go away. You don't have a little escape anymore, and that sucks, and that's really hard. So realize that. The second thing is realize that you are giving yourself a higher level of anxiety than you are normally. And I know people rebut against this and say that it calms you down. It gives you some sort of like mental clarity, but in the long run, it raises your anxiety. It's a stimulant. It's like drinking coffee all day long. You're just raising your like baseline anxiety. And I know what you say. I know what you're gonna say when you quit, when you don't vape for like 10 hours or whatever, your anxiety goes through the roof. And that is because you're going through a chemical withdrawal. You are physically addicted. You are chemically addicted to this thing. And when you go off of it, your body freaks out. It needs it, or it wants it. It needs it. So as somebody who's been off and on and back on, I like the level of clarity, of non-anxiety that you get from not vaping all day long is always worth it. It's always worth it. You have to get past this C. You have to get past this shitty part of, I'm addicted. When I stop, I start freaking out. The other side of that is so much better. And the reason that you got on this probably is because somebody gave you their vape or whatever, and you hit it and you got that dizzy buzz and you felt super good. If you're watching this video, you're probably past that point where you don't get a buzz anymore. So your return on investment has completely diminished. You don't get a buzz anymore. You're chasing withdrawal. The only way to get a buzz is to wait long enough to where your body is going through withdrawal to get that buzz. And I know that buzz is amazing, but you hit your vape all day long and it's not giving you anything anymore. It's at that point just like something that you can hold in your hand that makes you feel a little better. But I know that you want to get off of it, so we have to get rid of that. The third thing you have to realize is that it is going to be really hard. Quitting nicotine is among the hardest things I've ever done in my life. And it sounds stupid because it's just a little thing, right? Like this, it's just a tiny little vape. How could it be so like life altering? How can it have control over my life? And I'll tell you a story about when I realized that nicotine had control over my life to some extent. Is I was dating this girl years ago when I was vaping, the first time I started vaping. And we were on her boat, her parents' boat, and her parents didn't know she vaped. They didn't know I vaped, and they didn't like it. They would have not liked it if they saw that I was vaping. And we're out on the water for hours, and I am going through like horrible withdrawals. I can't even like talk. I'm basically nonverbal. I'm just like shutting down. And so I tell them I need them to go to shore. So I tell them that I have to pee. And they're like, well, just jump out of the boat and pee in the water. And I was like, oh, I had to be like, no, I don't want to pee in the water. I want to go to the shore. I had to like be that guy in front of them in order for them to stop boating, pull off onto the side, and where some bushes were, so I could jump onto land and run into the bushes and hit my vape secretly. And that was like a low point where I'm like, okay, this is pathetic. I'm looking pathetic in front of my girlfriend's parents because I have to hit this little stick. I need it to function. And then it's like, I don't want to live like that. And I know you don't want to live like that. Like, that just sucks. You're like trapped in this, you're trapped in your, in having to hit this thing every once in a, every couple hours to stay functional. It's not fun anymore. I don't even feel good. I don't even get a buzz. I'm just like trapped hitting this thing. So to get off of it, you have to realize all these things. And you have to realize that, at least for me, I know people that have better experiences with this. For me, every time I've gotten off of it, it has been nearly like a crippling experience, where I feel like I can't think anymore. I feel like I'm just tired all of the time. And that'll help you realize how bad the addiction is, because it'll realize like how bad you are addicted to something where you can't just live your regular life just like without it. So the next step is to assess what level of addiction you're at. So how long can you go without hitting your vape and feel fine? For some of you, I know that you can just stop. You can just stop, and the chemical addiction will not be bad enough to where it'll just be cravings. It'll just be like, man, I really feel like hitting my vape right now. It sounds so nice, but it's not mentally crippling to you. You don't feel horrible all the time. So if you're one of those people, I think for the majority of smokers, that was a big thing in the past, where it's just cravings. Oh, I just feel cravings. But vapes have a lot more nicotine than cigarettes do. And so if you're beyond the point of just cravings, and you're at that chemical level of like rehabilitation, get on the gum. That's the next step. So assess your level of addiction. If you are waking up, if you are at the level where your body wakes you up in the middle of the night to hit your vape every night, that is as addicted as you can be. That's a good way of determining if you are addicted. And that was me. I was waking up in the middle of the night every night to hit my vape, because my body would go through withdrawals in my sleep and like wake me up. Hey, let's hit the vape. So if that's you, If that's you and you're the most addicted, it's it's gonna be hard. And I would say the first step would be to throw away your vape or whatever. Don't hit it. Don't think that you can wean off of your vape by keeping your vape. That is the thing that I did so many times, and it never works. Don't keep your vape and go, well, I'm just going to hit it every 2 hours now. But then something bad happens, something pisses you off, something goes wrong at school, or like you get a bad grade, or somebody, somebody yells at you or starts an argument, and you go, who fucking cares? Oh, 2 hours? Like, I'm pissed off right now. I need this. I need to hit this. Because that happens every time. Every time you think, well, I'm just going to systematically wean off of this thing. It's a crutch, like I said. It's a crutch that you use for when you feel bad. So the second you feel bad, no matter what time frame it is you're going to hit it. So get rid of the vape entirely. That's the first step in getting off of it. Secondly, get the gum. The gum works every time. I would say don't get the patches, because the patches are really expensive. It's like $100 to $150 depending on what program you use or whatever. The first week is great. It delivers so much nicotine to you that like it might be more than you're even using now with your vape. So you'll feel fantastic for the first week or 2 weeks or whatever. And then the next week it splits it in half, the amount. So you went from feeling great to like you're barely getting by with just like mild annoyance at all times. You're pissed off. You don't feel good. The week after that, you might as well not even have given me a fucking patch, because I feel nothing. So don't use those. I would say for the chemical addiction, using the gum, buy the cheap shitty gum, like the store brand, not like the name brand, like Swiss made ones or whatever, because those are way too expensive. And then you'll quit using the gum and go back to vaping, because you're like, oh, I'm gonna save money. You're gonna justify it by saying, well, I'm gonna save money by going back to vaping. It's $10 for a vape, and it's $10 per pack of gum for these stupid gums. So buy the cheapest shit you can find. And whenever you have that urge of like somebody pisses you off, pop a piece of gum in. Use that as the crutch instead, because it's so much less nicotine. It's also not killing your lungs. It's just delivering nicotine into your gums like a Zyn would. Use that method. Use the gum as a crutch, because if you can wean off chemically and still keep the habit of using nicotine whenever you feel like it, it's gonna eliminate that factor of like both at once, of the chemical addiction plus the mental crutch that you're using. So you can keep the mental, it's switching it up. It's not hitting something. Where'd my vape go? It's not hitting something. Instead, you're developing a mental crutch with the gum, and then once you feel good with the gum, then switch over to actual gum. And whenever you feel that urge, just chew regular gum. It worked. I don't know why it worked, but it worked for me. I used the gum for like a couple weeks until I was like, I don't feel great, but I can function. And then I just switched to gum. And every time I got that urge, I just chewed these like little crunchy pellet gums. They tasted really good. It was like really cheap. And that was a great way. And it tricks your brain for whatever reason. So learn how to switch over to the gum, to the nicotine gum. Go with the 4s if you're really addicted, and go with the 2s if you're like mildly or like halfway there. And then just whittle your way down that way. Don't whittle your way down with a vape. I would say on an other note, you might be really depressed during this time. You might get really sad. I know that I did, and I had really, really high levels of anxiety, and I felt like the world was crashing in around me. And you need to realize that that is chemically induced, and that is not a result of your life. This will accentuate all of the problems that you have in your life, and it plays tricks with your mind. It really does. And realize that if you're going through this, that is the necessary step in order to be free from the addiction. Is you're going to feel horrible. You're going to feel depressed. You're going to feel like everyone hates you. And you just know that these are just mind tricks that the nicotine, the withdrawal is playing on you to try to get you to fall back in. If you are feeling depressed, know that it is working. It's not good. Don't do anything. Don't do anything bad. Just know that it's in your head. Don't worry about it. You're good. I've done it. It sucks, but you can do it. Like, you can do it, because I did it. And I am stupid, and I am weak when it comes to addiction, but I did it because it was worth it in the end. It's always worth it in the end to get unaddicted to something. So if you're watching this video and you made it to the end, hopefully it made sense. You got this. If you made it this far and you want to really get off of nicotine, my advice is only from personal experience. It really is worth it. It's really worth it to get off of it. I really encourage you to go through this and to free yourself from the financial burden and the mental and physical burden of being addicted to nicotine. It's no fun. It's no fun. So good luck out there. Let me know if I missed anything. If you have any other additional tips, any of you that have gotten off of it or who are working on getting off of it right now, go into the comments and give me some pointers. Give other people pointers. Yeah, stay strong.